Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Al Jazeera reports that U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a looming threat to strike Iran's power plants. In a vulgar social media post, President Trump declared that Tuesday will be Power Plant Day, indicating a plan to bomb Iran's electricity infrastructure. This aggressive stance is tied to the condition that Iran must open the Strait of Hormuz to avoid these attacks. Al Jazeera's correspondent, Hala al-Shami, is set to provide an in-depth analysis of Iran's power plants and the potential dangers associated with such military action, highlighting the severe implications of this escalating tension. Al Jazeera reports that Iran alleges a U.S.-Israeli projectile has struck a synagogue in Tehran, causing extensive damage. According to a video released by Iran's semi-official Mehr news agency, civil defense workers were seen amidst the rubble. The footage also showed Hebrew-language books scattered on the ground at the site. This incident comes amidst an ongoing U.S.-Israel war on Iran, as indicated by the article's tags. The Canadian press reports that Saudi Arabia has closed its sole road link to Bahrain following Iranian missile strikes on its oil-rich eastern province. These latest Iranian attacks occurred as U.S. President Donald Trump's deadline for Iran to fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz approached. Trump has threatened to bomb all of Iran's power plants and bridges if the critical waterway, through which a fifth of the world's oil transits, is not reopened by Tuesday 8 p.m. EDT. Iran, however, rejected a 45-day ceasefire proposal, demanding a permanent end to the war. In response to Trump's threats, Iranian officials urged young people to form human chains around power plants to protect them. The conflict, which began with Israeli and U.S. attacks, has led to skyrocketing oil prices and global economic concerns. International figures like New Zealand's Prime Minister and the UN Secretary General have raised warnings about potential war crimes if civilian infrastructure is targeted. Casualties continue to mount across the region. Al Jazeera reports that former Australian Special Forces soldier Ben Robert Smith has been arrested at Sydney Airport and is expected to face charges for alleged war crimes committed in Afghanistan. The 47-year-old is accused of 5 counts of murder relating to unarmed Afghan nationals who were not taking part in hostilities. Australian Federal Police Commissioner Chrissy Barrett stated that the charges stem from a complex investigation by the AFP and the Office of the Special Investigator dating back to 2021. His arrest follows Robert Smith's loss in defamation proceedings against journalists who reported his involvement in the murders of 3 Afghan men. An Australian judge in 2023, a ruling upheld last May, found that the journalists had not defamed him. Rawan Araf of the Australian Centre for International Justice described the arrest as a significant and long-awaited step for victims in Afghanistan. Robert Smith, reportedly Australia's most decorated living war veteran, had previously received the Victoria Cross for his service. Meanwhile, former Army lawyer David McBride remains imprisoned in Australia for revealing information about alleged Australian war crimes in Afghanistan. CNA reports that Singapore expects to face slower economic growth and higher inflation as the ongoing Middle East conflict disrupts global energy supplies and trade. Deputy Prime Minister Gan Kim Yong, who is also the Minister for Trade and Industry, stated on Tuesday, April 7, 2026, that Singapore must be prepared for the effects of the war to persist for some time. Industries such as manufacturing, electronics, precision engineering, air and sea transport, and tourism are particularly vulnerable to rising costs and weakened demand. While Singapore's GDP growth forecast was recently upgraded to between 2 and 4% for this year, following strong 2025 performance, growth in the coming quarters is likely to be impacted. Fuel and electricity costs have already risen, with a significant increase expected for the regulated electricity tariff. Overall inflation for 2026 is projected to be higher than earlier forecasts, disproportionately affecting lower-income households. The government has convened the Homefront Crisis Ministerial Committee to secure essential supplies and strengthen economic resilience. Singapore is also actively diversifying supply sources, strengthening international partnerships, and upholding a rules-based trading system. Citizens are urged to conserve energy, and businesses are encouraged to invest in efficiency to weather the crisis and emerge stronger. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.